Hi, this is Shanna at CoroWare. Today I'm thinking about change and how change scares people. What got me thinking about this was a former colleague reconnected with me on LinkedIn. And I remembered back to when I first started working with him. And at that time, I was in an experiment. I was working at Intel, and we were in a group that was doing things for information technology, but we were funded and controlled outside of the IT organization. And it was an attempt to try and find an alternate way of providing some of the services. Ultimately, we were like pay-per-view, that you paid for those services if you wanted them, separate from your normal IT budget. And it's interesting that we were like a virus in the way many people in IT reacted to our group. All of our engineers followed all of Intel's IT standards. We followed all of Intel's processes, except for budget and control. And we had people who really attacked rather than asking questions when we did presentations. And it was fascinating to watch how uncomfortable they were with a different way of doing things. So moving forward a bit, many of those people did cause change in the IT organization over time. And I was looking at some of the lack of civility in some of the comments for some posts that I read this weekend. And in all of them, people were afraid of a change that might come as a result of the viewpoint of the person who wrote the article or the blog post. And why are we so afraid of change? I think a lot of that has to do with that lack of control. Many of us feel like we need to control everything in our environment. Life offers lots of opportunities for tests and challenges, and maybe if you control everything, you can stop those. If you go way back and take a look at Darcy and Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen wrote about that same thing. He seems to exhibit that need to be fully in control of his life and that of his friends. I know people who are like that. I think one of the reasons some in the older generations are uncomfortable working with millennials and those of the rising generation is the threat they represent to the change in the status quo. It's now common to be a job hopper instead of staying in one place 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, or your entire career. People who have stayed in one place are often threatened by people who are willing to make that change and to jump. And I guess looking at my career over the years, I was a millennial ahead of my time because I have always looked for the change, for the challenge, for the opportunity. And I think that's the big thing that scares people. What if you fail? If I don't change and things don't change, I'm successful enough the way I am and where I am. So what do you think about change? I think I actually embrace it. It's scary, but I think it's a good kind of scary, and I appreciate and enjoy the challenge. Are you one of those who do, or one of those who fight it, kicking and screaming as you're dragged on to the next change? Let us know what you think. Thanks for listening.